Sup, dudes? Oh, let me turn that down. That's probably good. So, been doing some looking around. I thought I'd kind of make a video because I got enough stuff to talk about, pretty much. And I figured I would instead of just not doing it. Um, so yesterday I watched this video. Geologic evolution in gold metallurgy of China. So basically I was like, is there any geology in this? There's a good amount of geology in this. It's closely related to gold locations, which actually had some interesting details as well that was kind of revealing. I didn't know what exactly to make of it, but I thought we could start there. That's why we got some amazing Chinese music going on here. So, this video is from Ore Deposits Hub by Rich Goldfarb, China University of Geosciences and Colorado School of Mines. So he's from my understanding, it sounds like he's been in China for 20 years or so in the video doing this research. So I just thought the first thing that really captured my attention enough to put it on Twitter was this time frame, 135 to 120, which is really when the Ontong Java plateau is forming and breaking up. Let's see, Ontong Java Nui hypothesis. So it's definitely when this is happening. It's not the totality of the time frame. Also, Baja BC relationships, I believe that time frame is definitely relevant. So I just took note. Mind you, it is 135 to 120 million year old gold in East China in ore that is in Precambrian 2 billion year old terrains. How to get there? Sounds like it's not actually well understood. Young gold in old rocks, which normally you don't see. Like, the rocks are just sitting there, billions of years, according to radiometric dating and interpretation. They're just, like, firm, solid, stable, and then gold. No gold elsewhere, apparently. All the gold in the area is Cambrian, i.e. flood deposit. So there's that. So let's keep going here. Eastern half of North China Craton base fell off in mid-Mesozoic, and it's only 50 kilometers thick. So this craton, North China Craton, the eastern portion here, the base fell off, and it's only 50 kilometers thick when it's frequently like 160, 200 in places. The only craton on our planet that has died and essentially become an origin, like a mountain building orogeny, 160 million years ago. So 160 million years ago, apparently, this craton experienced drastic thinning in a relatively small location, although it's pretty thorough. Which is next to Korea here, so let's see. I believe it was here. And into here, but like, especially there. That's kind of odd. It's right in line with this Tarim Basin. And this thing, like the shallogram structure, it's almost like it was eroding like the next lobe over here. Like a lobe right up this way and over this way. And down this way, and across, or across there. Look at this shallogram. Like occurring in some kind of setting like this where at a boundary there's a erosion. I know this is not the best example, but maybe that was a point of where the erosion was. I was also thinking maybe the sphere of Hawaii went there. Maybe it went along this way and ran into resistance here. Like while I was going off of this. At least in some energetic way in terms of pushing a wave that then applies a pressure point over here. Similar to over here. So applying a pressure point here, a pressure point here, over there, down here, and over here, possibly somewhere else. And then doing the same into North America, and maybe not directly applying, like interacting with them as it rolls back along this way. See my other videos if that makes no sense, because this is deep down the rabbit hole, dudes. This is not the episode to enter down that rabbit hole. Oh no, sorry. I appreciate the effort at all. I'll be sure. Nice try. I mean, feel free to stick around. You're just gonna be like, what in the fuck? Just gotta accept if I say something. Like, then that's where Hawaii rolled. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But it does. So, apologies. It even looks Kind of in the same position. Like related. Some kind of relationship to that point. Let's see. It's not the same distance. 2350, not even close. What's 2350? Oh, it's actually near the bend over there. Oh. Oh. Like a current, the sphere rolling down, basically down along the coastline, propagating current underneath it that effectively drills in here into this counter pressure of current flowing out of this direction, basically, like a shallogram. Like how they do this. Out of the bottom, where current flow generally goes around both directions and collides at certain energetic points, one being the far point, where then their collision propagates a current that way. One being the bottom, where all of the general pressures from the opposite side push into a focal point over here, and then vice versa. So there's specific energetic points where currents tend to flow out of certain structures, and an ammonite structure like this, which Tarim Basin is, and the other structure, Emission Desert or whatever this is, I forget. This thing is ejecting a current flow along this path. That's probably going specifically through here to there. Just like holding a boundary for currents flowing from the propagation this way that are pushing in over here, using Earth, the continents, as like a way to transmit the energy into something, pretty much. Like there's a literal sphere roll of Earth the size of like 100 kilometers in diameter, rolling in the ocean waters that are present, that are of the flood waters, really, not just the ocean, but the flood waters, the currents that are even atop the surface. So it's propagating energy into those currents, and they're interacting back, and it's leading to a pressure point here, it seems. But an undercurrent pressure point, where the flow is coming from below and going under. And applying a pressure point. Ah, pressure points. They're everywhere. It's no coincidence that this happened when there were changes in plate motion about 130 million years ago in the Pacific Basin. Remember, this is when the Earth expansion process changed, like, in a fundamental way. The Ontong Java plateau began to break up, pretty much. And the sphere of Hawaii was ejected from it. That was incubated within it. Like a concretion in a, like, sedimentary base material that's softer than the concretion, the softer Ontong Java Plateau held a nucleus system incubating in it that was essentially a huge concretion that was 100 kilometers about in diameter that physically moved around in this area of the Earth before the Earth expanded, so it was much closer. That formed under Australia and went over to the eastern margin of Australia, which was actually over here near Ecuador, and then it went up North America, or maybe it went up into China. I mean, there was Philippines, Australia was generally up there, Philippines, North Maluku, Sulawesi, Philippines, generally up there. So it would have had to go somehow I don't know how it would get to China. It's kind of hard. It's interesting this is rotating. It's practically rotating. It's literally rotating and emitting a current this way, it seems, in some kind of pressure region, like some bubble where the Ontong Java Plateau was forming, and the Manihiki, the Ontong Java Nui, all of the plateaus that broke apart were forming underneath Australia before it moved away from them. So Australia was really right above this. Current going into it from all sorts of directions, but then apparently going that way and that way. So going around and through it, but also running into it to a point that it emitted a current that way, creating actual division between the paths. I'm not sure. I don't know. And then it goes the other way. This current going this way is weaker than some other current going around it, basically, to come in this way and join the current going from North America, underneath North America, between the Americas, cutting the Gulf pretty much through it and under into Australia, that then was going this way, and this other current joined it, just joined it from over there, where this current then emitted a current, I guess, like opposite, underneath it, in the opposite direction, like fueling a current. But then it seems that current that was being fueled by this whole structure overwhelmed the current that was passing it this way around this time, which led it to actually go up this way and even start to like propagate that way. Which then also the current under North America went up that way too. Instead of going this way, it went up that way. So it's like the current under North America was going south across, basically across Australia, under Asia, while a current under Asia was running into North America. Basically, the fact it's running into it, leading to this boundary, because it was within the continuous landmass of the Earth before the Earth expanded, then it it runs into it. But then it cuts it off. And that current has to go down, which is what we've been talking about. The current's going across this way. Across here. We even said it was going across here based on Asia geology map. Wherever this is, like to basically there. So maybe not up there, but to here. Reaching there energetically. Because there's material there. I don't know if we can see the picture any better. Let's get one we can see. There we go. So this current coming across that went through here, but across here. It seems like it might have gone Paleo-Asian Pacific Domain. Tethan. So Pacific Domain is just later. So green is during the Earth expansion. This is not. So in terms of like the Indian Craton is pre-Earth expansion. It's been influenced by the process, but like this terrain is all from the Earth, from the flood, whereas this is not. For example, there's probably some like chunks as kind of cores of things around that is maybe not recognized as well, but or mapped as well. But anyway, it looks like this current was, very importantly, was going through here and over here until this craton that we were just looking at got shoved over here, which is part of what that this talk that he was mentioning is that this got like moved over and it blocked off this region and like something had, I don't know if it essentially it got positioned here and that made the region like form in some way, and it gave me the impression that it physically was like floating in this river practically. And then it ran into resistance over here, so it couldn't go any further. And it built up a dam, later a physical dam, that this material behind it could dam against. And so it started to dam material against it, which then led to a greater resistance for the current flowing this way until it actually went more this way, down that way, and so it basically switches from going up across here and over this way and around, wrapping it into Australia, probably by going more so like up and really up and through here and into Australia, but at some point maybe also out in some segment of the ocean that was starting to form. Much smaller, but also maybe some amount. Much smaller than plate tectonics claims. That was exposed. Some of it was existing underneath continents. So maybe this was actually going underneath North America, this current here. Not sure. But essentially it went across until it got blocked off by this system where all these currents are colliding, emitting enough of a jet that actually cuts it off. And like pushes it underneath that. So it has to go underneath Australia. So the current goes underneath Australia. Like if we go... I posted something about Antarctica recently. There it is. So is it generally without the oceans on a pre-expansion Earth, but generally like this, where the current was like wrapping around with North America over there though, and through Asia, pretty much right through Asia, and around at North America, running into resistance of the eddy that was forming at North America, bending this way into Australia, where then it was emitting a current and back across this way that was cutting off the initial current. Possibly more so like along some boundary like this way. I don't know exactly. Maybe like that way. Like coming off over here some reason. Essentially making it more difficult for that current to go across, while the other system over there was getting larger because current was flowing into it. Until the current flowing from North America ran into the resistance of Australia and started pushing into it, and like it reached a southern enough point basically for current flow going through here to actually run into it, and not like, because current was flowing through here, but Australia, Papua New Guinea started attached up here, and then it reattaches over here. But then as it moves down into this current that's flowing across this general region, it runs into it directly and gets shoved over here into this position. So then it starts to move this way, but then the current flow ends up propagating more northward, like it's running into it and going up, kind of like what we saw with this current flow going across out this way, holding the boundary here, but then continuing across here where it runs into this other eddy's pressure. It runs into it and goes up. Runs into the eddy's pressure and goes up. And this current's going up. So then it starts applying a general force from Australia, like as a backstop for the force, kind of like the China pressure point, applying a pressure northward into this whole area to move Australia relatively away from North America and Asia, while this other current is applying a westward pressure, specifically moving it away from North America and North and South America, and making it more like part of Asia kind of. But this is probably happening much closer over here, though, when this time frame is. Although it may be spaced with the pressure points at a distance, transmitting energy at like spooky action at a distance kind of thing, where it's just propagating energy through a medium, where that then gets focused at some resistance. The energy gets focused at it to then create a specific point where the object applies a force into the other object without actually touching. Then I got some parent replies. Okay. Then there's these images. So just South China block, North China craton. This is where it's thinner there. Don't remember what this is. But everything else is Cambrian. Phanerozoic. So this is all new stuff. Tibet. Tarim Basin is a craton that pre-existed the flood. Interestingly, it's joined across here, and it even has like a divide. An actual fault at the chakra. Like, at the chakra. Oh, wrong way. And then 400 to less than 5 million years. All the gold. It's all outside of. I guess it's also in these along Phanerozoic deposits, like intrusions, porphyries, and then it doesn't matter too much. But then here's more of the map. Let's see. So I'm trying to find South China block. There it is, SC. Directly adjacent to Australia. I mean, it's pretty much where, relative to India, pretty much where it is now. It's a little odd. Then it moves over there. According to plate tectonics, mind you, expanding Earth, this is all basically connected. There might be some opening of the Earth that fractured it like this, though, that then closed up as the Earth expanded. It did like something where it basically was away, expanded, and then re-expanded, pretty much, and collapsed this terrain back together, relatively. So it might have been more spaced than it is today, and have generally become spaced like this, where then over here, like, the Indonesian archipelago was forming at some point in the process. Essentially a current coming that way through here. That goes to there though. I don't know. Okay, I don't want to get too caught up on this. Let's see if anything pops out. Carlin style, some variety. Mesozoic subduction. 170 to 100 million deformation. North China Block. Mesozoic Basin. Cenozoic Basin. Red stuff. 125 to 114 MA. I guess. Cooling age of MCC. With sheer sense of upper plates. Major fault suture zone. Lake Baikal. Okay, and then this is the one 135 to 120. Some more of those. Some more. Okay, unfortunately, I really don't remember the details. This was more interesting actually listening. Where did the fluids and metals come from in the North China deposits? We don't know. Late Mesozoic tectonist removal of, I don't know. Oh, I think it was just removal of 80 to 140 kilometers of Archean lithosphere. Lithosphere, so underneath 80 to 140 kilometers of like ancient Earth material, just boom, removed in this time frame, and then it stopped, apparently, in the late Mesozoic. Fluids and gold from below the metamorphosed Precambrian crust. So this is a hypothesis on how that gold got there. Fluids and gold from below. Mind you, this process is putting copper porphyry deposits all over the Ring of Fire. Like, it's pretty much the decay of an atomic nucleus, where it's like a supernova, is what it really is. A planetary supernova on a fractal scale that doesn't destroy Earth because it was a 100-kilometer radius system that was just so energetic in the formation process that it like did the cosmic things where it created all the things. It even created life, it seems. I don't know. It's hard to say. It really seems like it created life, like as we know it in some ways. The process changed things and really created things. Okay, let's keep going. So apparently 200 to 140 million, the area of the North China Craton, and possibly just north of it. I don't know if that's the boundary or what, but it had a force applied to it generally, or a younging trend. So like the magmatic formations were east and got younger west in the time period of 200 to 140, and then they went back the other way from 140 to 90. It really seems like Hawaii passed through this region in some way. And 140, like, it's more on the way north, not on the way south, it seems. North America actually has a lot of on the way south signs. Maybe it went up this way, but actually ended up running into China over here, and then going back over, because it essentially went this way, in through here, underneath the crust, which was all the way up here, through here, ran in here to this point, which was over here, and then it went back here, where it slingshot this way, ran into resistance of the Philippines, to a point where it bends along the Philippines, and then it runs into resistance down here and bends along this portion, but it's really bending over here into like this area as its final resting place over here. So maybe it, like, even though it makes a straight path here, maybe it literally is so energetic that it pushes the crust. I don't know. It causes the crust to respond instead of it responding by, like, shoving the Earth's crust in a way. I don't know if that's possible. That then makes, like, this crust hit it, and it basically wobbles to create a trajectory where it's hitting one side over here, hitting one side over here, like going back and forth, ping pong, but really leaving behind the trace that's like this. See, that's 235 or 223. Let's see, 2356. 1771. Let's see if that's around that. No. 1582. Let's see, 17. Whatever was around there. Then that got longer. Although this did, like, widen. Maybe it even ran in over here in a manner to, like, create space for more material to flow in to then widen Asia somewhat. I'm spitballing in some ways here. Let's see what else do we got here. We have this post. So I was watching How the Earth Was Made. I've seen this episode several times because it's the Rockies, and sometimes I'll just watch How the Earth is made or was made. Anyway, regardless of the source, the information sounds research. So these are like, maybe we can even find them now. They probably say their names. These two scientists. It doesn't look like they visually put it on the screen, but these two scientists, they say, what we found in springs like these at the Rio Grande Rift area. How far are we? We're 46 minutes. I'm wondering if I should do this in another episode. It's a totally different topic. I mean, not totally, but it kind of is different. We're talking about currents over here, then I'm going to be talking about currents over here. Yeah, I'll just save it. That's good. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.